Superiority versus narcissism. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Talking today, we're continuing a conversation from the last episode when I was discussing how to be okay with being superior. And it's a concept that most people don't talk about. It's kind of scandalous, but we're all good at something. In fact, it brings up a conversation I was having earlier today where I had made some jokey comment about being a genius. It was a joke. I didn't mean it, but my son was asking, well, what makes a person a genius, or am I a genius, or what's on? And I'm really of the belief, I really am of the belief that I think genius, it's a little bit of a misnomer. And we'll get into the narcissism in a second, but genius is a little bit of a misnomer. And what it really, for me, what genius is when you've taken the thing that you're really good at and you've taken it to high extremes so that you stand out, so that you're superior to others in a very obvious way about the thing that you're good at. And most of us are good at enough different things, and oftentimes, I guess you could say, we drift to the point to where we don't focus enough on one thing to be considered genius by anybody. But I think everybody has genius capabilities. I think they really do. I think oftentimes in modern days we consider people who are geniuses as being gifted in perspective of science and math and those type of things. On occasion you'll hear some type of artistic genius out there, but in general we consider geniuses to be people that are good at school in some sense. I'm not going to go off on the edge of what genius is, but it plays into this concept of superiority. When I'm talking about being superior at something, I'm talking about being known to be good at one thing, and not just you personally. Now, when we're talking narcissism, it's more of a personal thing. I was discussing this in terms of business. You have to be good at one thing. You have to stand out at one thing. We talk about it in terms of being unique. You know, having that unique selling position, or having a unique selling proposition that you're setting out there as, this is what makes me different. This is what makes me unique. Well, that's in a sense, you're proclaiming a superior position. You have to claim that you're good at something. That's what superiority is about. It's not about saying that you're better than another person on a broader based level, on a moral level. It's about being superior in something very specific. It's so you're talking about a very relative term. Narcissism, on the other hand, has to do with really having a perspective and projecting that perspective of having excessive admiration and such a high view of oneself that it goes beyond just the sense of superiority. It goes beyond a person just being obsessed with their own image. And specifically Narcissus, you're talking about an actual image, being in love with their own image, but being in love with however they see themselves, our own self-image. That's when you start falling into narcissism. You start falling into the idea that the type of people you talk to, and they can't stop talking about themselves and every subject. Let's pull it back for a second. Everyone sees everything from their own position, and a lot of times you can get a bad rap by saying that, well, that guy's just selfish. Well, everybody's selfish to some extent, because we only got two eyes, we got two ears, each got our own brain, and it's going 24/7. All this stuff we're very closed into a very subjective state of mind. The best of us has to pay attention to whether we're getting food, clothing, and shelter. We're paying attention to our own desires, And at the very highest, we're paying attention to our own destiny, but it's still ours. There's an individual thing here going on. So if you think about it, no matter what, we're all selfish to an extent. Narcissism takes that to a whole nother level, to where it's excessive. That's really the key phrase. If you look up any definition of narcissism, it's really the fact that it takes this concept to an excessive level, to where a person becomes obsessed. They become stuck in thinking about themselves all the time and seeing it only from their perspective, unable to see anybody else's point of view. And it's on all levels. It's on all levels. A true narcissist sees themselves as superior at everything because they are who they are. To the point to where you get someone going to the end where they have this God complex, where they honestly believe that they are of a higher being, a higher racial, some type of higher race and everything, and you get into Nazism and all that crap. That all stems from a sense of narcissism. And there's a whole bunch of, you can go on and on about where does that come from and everything else. The main thing to understand is when you run into these type of people, see them for who they are, and don't get into business with them. Don't get into relationships with them. They got an issue they got to work out, right? So that's the difference. But at the same time, finding somebody that understands what they're really good at. I had a friend that said, well, hey, can Sinatra sing? Do you think Sinatra knew he could sing? Of course he did. He knew he was great at it. There's nothing wrong with that. Where you get into issues is where I am so good at one thing that I'm owed something because of it. Maybe that might be a little bit of the line of where you start dipping into narcissism. I don't know. Narcissism, I should say. But you don't mix those two up. Being superior and understanding that you're superior at something is very, very, very important to the success of your business and anything that you plan on doing in life. Because not only do you need to know that, you need to be able to communicate it to others so that they know what they're dealing with and they know why they want to do business with you. It's not just a personal thing. It's about the whole thing. Whether you're discussing superiority of what a business provides, what a person provides, what an organization provides, what a product provides. Same idea. Superiority is a necessity, whereas narcissism is things taken to an absolute extreme. So that's all I have for tonight. It's a kind of esoteric ideas tonight, but what have you, take it for what it is. I've put out a training on content marketing. If you're wondering whether you should even think about content marketing, you want to check out this training. It's $90 right now on the website. You may see a slightly different price by the time you're watching this, but you can go to contentmarketingquestion.com. There you'll see the whole pitch for what it is and what it's all about. So go check that out. And if you know what you're superior at, it's time to get the word out about it. And content marketing is a great way to do it, but it's not for everyone. Go check out the contentmarketingquestion.com. Don't put a "the" in there. That won't get you there. Contentmarketingquestion.com. You have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.